challenge has been referred to as the curse of multilinguality. And what that means in particular is the trade-off between the performance of the model on the different languages and the number of languages that are covered by the model, given a fixed model capacity. So you can see that a bit more clearly with this graph here, which plots the performance on one of these datasets I mentioned before, cross-lingual natural language inference, with models that have been pre-trained on an increasing number of different languages. And what we can see here is that compared to a model that was only trained on 7 languages, the average performance on the different languages the model has been pre-trained on deteriorates over time as we increase the number of languages the model covers. So the more languages the model is pre-trained on, the lower is the average performance of the model, both for the lower resourced and the higher resourced languages in the model. And the explanation for that is quite simple, or it's probably familiar to you if you've trained models trying to do different things at the same time, such as training models in different domains or multitask models in different tasks. Because the more things you try to do with the model at the same time, the more different tasks or languages compete for the model's limited capacity. So the less capacity or the less parameters the model ultimately has to dedicate to modeling well each particular setting. And current methods that I mentioned before try to strike a balance between making the model as useful for as many languages as possible, while still trying to achieve reasonable performance in many languages by pre-training it on around 100 languages, as I mentioned. And one potential solution for this might be to simply scale up this model, so simply to increase the number of parameters. But ultimately, really, we would like to also use these multilingual models in practical applications, which are often resource constrained. So I think the key challenge really here is how we can, given these multilingual models as a basis, how can we selectively improve the performance of this model for both languages that it was already trained on, as well as new languages that the model hasn't covered, but that we care about in a selective manner.